So we're here on the very first episode of Med-Minded, a podcast.
Dun, dun.
It's very exciting. I'm super excited for this. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's something very near and dear to me, and I have an absolute awesome guest with me today. One of my good friends, what I consider my mentor, Omar Dar. So Omar, I just want you to kind of give us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you actually go by? And just give us a little info, man.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you very much. I mean, I'm really, really excited for you. This is awesome to be here, and so thank you very much for having me on. I feel honored to be the first here, and
the very first.
And honestly, to see you, coming down this path, I think it's awesome to call me a mentor. That's scary.
Just a little.
Okay, yeah, that's really, really scary. I think that people are actually gonna start taking advice from me one day. No,
I think it's less of just a mentor, but I think we're gonna teach each other.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Is I think I've learned probably more from you than me teaching you anything. So I appreciate your friendship tremendously, and
absolutely.
And yeah, I know you're going to do well at this, and people I think are going to get a lot from this podcast. And so,
well, I sure hope so. I
say we dive in and
here.
Freaking hit the ground running. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about it.
Cool, guys. Well, like I said, first episode ever of the Med-Minded podcast. But yeah, so Omar, so just tell us a little bit about, one thing that I do know about you is that you were first a paramedic, right? So tell us about that. What was that experience like? Because you are who you are now, but I want people to understand where you were first.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I did start off as a paramedic. I never went to any formal college or anything like that, and it was my passion. It is my passion even to today. I mean, it is, I come alive in the back of an ambulance. That is truly where, I think my love is, and to to this day, it's something that I reminisce, and I, from time to time will even find myself, still going on calls and things like that, just to kind of get it, get the drill. Yeah, if there's certain events going on, that we're doing, standby for. There's one in particular in Corpus that they used to do, and this was pre-COVID.
Makes sense.
It was the beach to bay that I would.
The marathon.
Run. Yes,
really.
Marathon. Yeah. So we used to do the coverage for that every year.
Okay.
So that was the one time that you would find me back in my uniform on one of the supervisor vehicles. Hauling butt down up and down the beach. Yeah, great time. It was a good time.
So you say you reminisce about being a paramedic, but I could only imagine those are like some major horror stories involved too. How do you reminisce about the things that you've seen or dealt with? Because I know there's a lot that people don't see behind the scenes. That's probably something you don't want to hear.
Yeah,
something you don't want to reminisce on.
Yeah, you're right. So I think you're right. I mean,
I've always just wondered about that. You know what I mean?
No, you're 100% right. I think half the stuff, 90% of the stuff that paramedics see, I think probably 90% of humanity never sees their whole life, right? And so...
and I laugh about it, but, I mean, you can imagine.
Right. No, it definitely takes a sick person to be able to be a paramedic. No, it definitely, a lot of people ask me that question of how kind of, how do you deal with seeing those kind of things? And honestly, I think there's a huge disconnect during those, right? Mm-hmm. When I think back on some of the worst scenes that I've been on, I've pulled up to a vehicle where the person was trapped within the vehicle,
Wow.
and the whole car was engulfed in flames. And I talk about it like it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Because in my head, literally, that's how I had disconnected myself. Like when I think back in that moment,
Yeah.
it was as if I was watching a movie, or I wasn't even there, right?
Yeah. You're just not even there anymore. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think at that point, your training kicks in. Your body just kind of like, you come completely detached from the situation that you're actually in.
Huge shot of adrenaline each and every day.
I mean, I'm talking just like a whole can of Red Bull.
Straight to the dome, right on a call,
Right.
Gosh.
Boom. But no, I think a lot of, you find that in the pre-hospital emergency, care, that, man, there's a lot of people that I think do go untreated with mental health problems, PTSD, because I think there's this stereotype of just like, oh, we're trained to do it, so like, we can handle it,
Yeah.
but I think it's really, really important nowadays that in that, because I think back to some of this stuff, man, and I'll be the first to tell anybody that if they're having any problems, like, seek that help to not just hold it
absolutely.
in, and but I think in that industry it goes untreated quite often, and it's really sad to see, whether I think somebody getting burnt out and just like leaving the industry altogether is like your best, your best case scenario in those instances.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of times, man, I had colleagues that had chose to kind of end their own life, because of
and that's heavy.
the things that they saw, and nobody knew about it. Nobody even saw it coming, right? Until afterwards, and so I think it's something that goes, like I said, untreated quite often. I think a lot of EMS agencies nowadays, they are kind of starting to be a little bit more proactive in regards to it. Whether it's having somebody on staff. I've seen agencies now starting to bring people on staff, that can handle, debriefing after a major incident or something like that. I think it's really, really important because the longevity in that industry is you get into it. Everybody that does it, they do it because they love what they do.
Absolutely. There's that instinct within them that, just like you said, their instincts kick in as soon as they're on a call, whether they think so or not, it's affecting them at the end of the day. But, with these agencies bringing on, kind of people to help them get through it, it's pretty cool.
That at least gives them an avenue.
Absolutely. Yeah. If they choose to. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's there for them.
Yeah, that's incredible. A lot of people, I don't think people that are going to be watching this totally understand what a lot of people go through in the healthcare field or in the medical world or in fitness, lifestyle, just a bunch of things, whenever it has to, when it comes to taking care of someone else's life, it's a huge weight on your shoulders. And I think it's something that's taken for granted all the time. People, I don't think, look at paramedics and say, oh, they're heroes. I haven't heard that.
No,
but I think
firefighters and police.
It's always firefighters, police officers,
EMS.
Nurses. hey, but I think this is an opportunity to see them as such, to see them as people that are, heroes themselves. But yeah, it's a crazy world, and I don't know how you did it. I think that's something I couldn't handle, if I'm being honest with you.
I got burnt out. No
Seriously.
joke. I got burnt out midway, and thankfully I realized it, and
Yeah.
I went and sold cell phones in the middle of a mall in a kiosk.
It's funny that you say that. I actually did the same thing.
Did you really?
I didn't sell cell phones. I sold vapes.
Oh, no way.
At a
See, I
kiosk.
don't think they had vapes back when I think the vapes were just coming out. They were probably the popular thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think-
Interesting. Funny
Yeah.
story. Yeah. But so you started selling cell phones, and what happened next, dude?
Man, after
sure that
a
was
while,
fun.
it actually taught me a lot, to be honest with you.
Amen.
It did. Because imagine this, right? Like prior to that, I mean, I was used to dealing with very sick people,
Yeah.
ones that couldn't talk or like sometimes barely interact with me.
Oh, yeah.
To now dealing with me having to cell phones to live humans, you know?
Live humans that don't want your cell
That
phones.
don't want my cell phones. Right. You know?
Yeah.
But
Sales 101.
exactly. Yeah. So I think I took a lot from that experience, and decided to go back to EMS. But yeah. So it was like, okay, so this is what humans are like. Okay, no, I'll go back to EMS.
Yeah.
I'll go. No,
Enough dealing with live
right,
action people.
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good experience. I think it gave me what I needed for that for that moment. It gave me a lot of insight on marketing, sales techniques, things like that. I mean, that's truly, I think, where I really learned to be comfortable talking to people. Prior to that, I was a little bit I wasn't as outgoing. I wasn't as outspoken. It was just a little bit more introverted. But that pushed me in this realm of uncomfort almost.
No, I totally agree. I mean, just being out there selling stuff at a kiosk. At one point I did door-to-door sales, doing pest control. And let me tell you something. I wrote a whole voice memo on that stuff because it was the worst experience of my life.
Really?
Well, I mean, gosh, that's where you really deal with objection, right? You get your first big no and a door slam,
Yeah.
right in your
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
And you're right. It teaches you a lot.
I
of
could see
perseverance,
that. Yep.
objection, avoidance, all that
Fine,
stuff.
live with the roaches then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, I had this joke. It was kind of funny. I had this little toy cockroach
Yeah.
that I would sometimes take in my pocket, and I would drop it on the floor and kick it and be like,
Brilliant.
oh, watch, check it out.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant, dude. Yeah.
Your current provider's not working.
Cockroach on the, yeah, it's not working. Whatever you're doing,
Whatever it
we
is.
need to service
Right.
this. Yeah, yeah.
Did it work is the question.
0%.
Zero.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
wasn't that good.
Maybe it was a cockroach.
It was
Maybe it was like- was
fake.
it-
It was obvious. So,
I would have just gotten some real cockroaches.
yeah, I'm not carrying those in my pocket.
You could put them in a jar. Come on, man.
I'm still not doing it. But no, yeah, those were the worst positions, but also the best.
The most
Because
the
they
most
help you grow.
enlightening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I mean, you start to have this inner voice, and you're asking yourself, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I think that actually, when I worked at the kiosk, was the moment. I think I called my mother that day. The moment I had my revelation.
Right.
I called her and I said, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. Something's got to change. And I think a week later, I was gone, pursuing
So how long did
my
you
goals.
sell vapes?
sold vapes for like 2 years.
That's legit.
It's a long time.
That's
Some, there's a bartender. I'm your vape tender. At your
wow.
service.
Okay. Wow. I did not realize that you had
Yeah.
that under your belt.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a
all
long
right.
time. But no, I mean, after doing that for 2 years and you finally kind of lose yourself and you feel stagnant and you're ready to grow and you realize that you're stagnant, right?
Yeah.
That's the first step to everything.
Of course.
Is realization of your situation.
Can't go anywhere unless you know where you're at.
Absolutely. And so as soon as I left, that's when life started to take a turn, and
Yep.
and I'm interested to hear where your life actually took that turn. Like, you talk about selling cell phones, going back to EMS, but what was the point? What was that moment for you? Because if nobody in here knows, I think, Omar, how many companies do you own at this point? Don't laugh.
No, honestly,
A few. We'll say a few.
I'm gonna.
We'll count 'em.
I'm gonna.
Chill,
I'm gonna
chill.
under. I'm gonna under. I think I'm close to either 10 or 12.
Okay.
I want to say. I think I might have just opened up 13.
Okay. Yeah. So we're
'Cause
going from.
I just created one, but I'm just gonna go with 12. Just to be on the
paramedic to
safe
12
side.
companies. So I want to know, what was the moment?
What was the
What was
moment?
that defining moment that you can specifically remember realizing that things needed to change? I just think it's an interesting, question for a lot of
It
people.
is. No, that is. And I'll tell you, I think it's just a goal that I had growing up was to work for myself, to have my own business.
Yeah.
I remember, through, intermediate school or middle school, 7th, 8th grade, I wasn't doing so hot in school. And I remember having, my counselor calling me in. This might have actually been my freshman year. My counselor calling me in and, basically asked me, like, what do you want to do with your life, Like,
Just kind of like in a sick, disgusted voice. Like,
yeah,
what are you doing, Omar?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like, I was like, and I remember looking at her and just saying, I'm going to take over my dad's businesses. That's what I'm going to do. I don't even need school. I'm just going to take over my dad's businesses.
Nice.
Like my dad was just going to hand it over,
Yeah.
which I think has failed anyways. If I remember correctly.
If you would have taken that, you would have been nowhere.
Right, exactly, right. But I did know that I had this huge just desire to not really work for anybody, right? To always, and I knew I knew I had this passion of emergency medicine.
Yeah.
I knew I had this passion of wanting to work for myself. So, just naturally, it became a goal to own my own ambulance company one day. And that is kind of, just something that, I think what gave me the drive though.
So is that what your dad did? An ambulance
No,
company? No,
not even close.
Okay.
Custom furniture.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Completely
not so
different for
really
sure.
custom. But no, my dad was actually that was my grandfather owned a furniture company overseas, and so I think because my dad was a civil engineer for Aramco in Saudi Arabia, so he was in town 4 times a year.
Wow.
And so, I think that was just an answer that I could give the counselor that day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know how to tell her I don't like school. And I'm not, and I'm not taking, please no one take this as like
That's not advice.
as advice again. Okay. That's definitely not what I'm saying.
But you know what? I think in this day and age, I think school's not the only answer.
Agreed.
And that's me saying something that's very truthful. There's trade schools and regular schools and entrepreneurship at its finest.
Agreed. Yes, you're right. But I never want to get that phone call from my mom going,
Yeah, my son
because
dropped
of
out because
you,
of you.
my son dropped out.
This is not advice. This is
yeah.
merely us stating opinions.
Right. But yes, no, I
Disclaimer, kids.
Right.
Go to school.
Go
Be
to
cool,
school.
stay in school.
Yeah. No, for me, like I said, I've said it before, and I come from. I'm one of 5 boys. I'm the second to youngest of 5 boys.
Wow.
And every single one of my brothers is a physician. Every single one of them graduated college, went to medical school or dental school,
Yeah.
and are a doctor or dentist, or I'm the only one that in the middle of high school chunked deuce and was like, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But at the time it was to become an EMT. I went and got my GED because that it was either high school diploma or GED to go get your EMT license, your certification. And so went and got my GED, and got my EMT basic, and shortly after that, went through paramedic school, and just started learning the industry. I remember there was a time where it was like every summer I would take those 3 months and I would just dive into a certain topic, right? One summer it was, the heart. The next summer, I did neuro. The next summer, I studied and kind of dove really deep into different types of seizures. That's when we actually found out that my older son that he had seizures.
Yeah.
It was actually in one of those
it was meant to be.
conferences that I went to that. They were going through different types of seizures, and
Wow.
the person that was the person that was giving the lecture was showing these videos of what petit mal seizures look like.
Wow.
And when I saw it, I was just like, oh my God,
This is the answer.
that's him.
Yeah.
That's my son.
Wow.
This whole time I thought he was just ignoring me. I remember,
But
like,
no,
right,
yeah. That's incredible.
and
Yeah.
so,
That's a
it was
crazy
just
story.
like, and then, it was just, just really diving first deep into, actually, paramedic pre-hospital emergency care. And then I just found myself building this network as I was going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as a paramedic, as I was out on the truck, I started meeting the nurses that were working at these facilities, these hospitals. I started, meeting the administration, meeting, all of these people, and just kind of started building this true, genuine friendship. I think like even you and I mean, have, and it's just like, and that's when I realized kind of what was happening. It was like I was setting myself up for this same determined goal that I had as a child, right?
Yeah.
And I saw it just literally all just come together, because did I actually really think I was going to own my own ambulance company? Heck no. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And even getting there, I mean, like once I realized that, okay, this could be a possibility.
Yeah.
To the point where I actually got there, it looked a lot different than what it did in my own head.
Oh,
right?
guaranteed.
It looked like a battlefield. It was just like,
Nothing's a straight line.
No.
Nothing in entrepreneurship or creating your own business and doing something for yourself. It's definitely not a straight line.
Yeah, no, if it is, you're doing something wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you got lucky. I don't know. Who
Maybe,
knows?
maybe there's those ones out there.
I highly doubt it.
Me too. Yeah, no, it was a journey of many sorts. And I think everybody goes through their own, right? I mean, everybody faces their own challenges. They, I love when people kind of ask me like, what's the secret?
The secret sauce.
What is the secret? It's like there is no secret, man. We are all like, I tell it like I'm still figuring it out. I'm still like each and everything. I'm like, we still like, it's like we're tackling each obstacle as it comes, right?
Yeah.
And so for anybody to give someone an answer of kind of like, hey, this is the equation or algorithm to complete success.
You got to start getting real metaphorical with them when someone asks you that. Just point at them and be like, it's inside of you. Like some kind of like ridiculous. You got to start doing that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like
no.
the answer lies within you.
Yeah, exactly.
Some crazy stuff.
No, but
I agree. There's no sauce.
No, there's
none.
Yeah. And I get the question because I think I like, during my journey, I think I tried to look in every nook and cranny of the internet and tried to, ask every person that I knew. And I think they gave me some great advice. I think, but, I think what I learned is like, man, everybody faces different obstacles, dependent on the industry, dependent on the time that you're doing. There's so many factors that play into it that it's really hard to kind of say, like what the answer to that, to that is going to be. So. Yeah,
I think I know the answer.
I mean, I could go for it.
The answer is do your own research.
Knowledge. I was going to say knowledge.
Information.
That's it. Yeah.
Search.
Yeah.
Google's your best friend.
Yep.
Wikipedia. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and I think preparation is good. You can be prepared, but
Are you really ever prepared though?
Even then, I was just about to say, like, right when you think you were prepared for everything, you know, that's when it's going to show you that it's not, you know.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, I know what, for me, right, what it felt like was like caring for a newborn. It was like, you know,
It's delicate.
One image as a child that I did have as an owner. In my head, I had this image, right, that I was at this large oak wood desk with this freaking just.
And this is you imagining this as a kid.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yes. In fact, I would set it up in the garage sometimes.
Oh, wow.
My mom would tell you to this day. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't an actual, it was probably more like a plastic desk and, you know,
The imagination
chair.
does.
But my imagination desk, it was a huge, you know, brown desk with, you know, just this leather chair and me with my arms behind my head and my legs kicked back. You know, that's what I imagined is that what me owning a business looked like. What I very quickly found was that the business owed me. It owned me, right? It's like so when I tell people, it's like you truly just have to listen to your business, right? It's going to tell you when to wake up.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't listen to it, you might not do as well that day, right? You might.
Of course.
It's not going to flourish, right? It's going to tell you when you're allowed to go to sleep, when you can leave the office, when the day's done with, right? If you don't listen to it, you might not get some work done. You know, if you leave early and you know cut out, or you know to go to the bar, to go party or whatever, you're gonna miss out on something.
Yeah.
It's going to tell you when you can eat. It's going to tell you when you're allowed to go take those lunch breaks. It's going to tell you, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think the mentality of me owning
kicking back is not a reality.
Not yet, at least.
We're headed there, right?
I'm you know.
Yeah, work on it every single day.
If it's a goal, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
Absolutely.
But no, you know, I think really just being in tune with it and trying to just really give what it's asking for, you know, and not.
So was that defining moment, you kicking back in the chair with your feet on the desk? Was that the moment?
Yes, if I had to put a moment on it, yes, exactly.
That was the moment you knew what you wanted in life.
I knew what I was going to get in life. Yes, I knew there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to get there.
Yeah.
I had no doubt, none.
It's powerful. It's powerful, man.
I didn't know how.
Yeah. There's not a how-to book. There's no directions.
No. I couldn't find any cliff notes on it. Like, I mean, but I knew, but you know, I think having no other option, having that determination, having just, you know, the, you know, of course, like you're going to have days that you're doubtful. Of course, it's like, man, can I really do this? Is this really something? But honestly, you know, I think, you know, once you kind of give yourself that power just to just like don't give yourself any other option. There is no plan B. There's no not doing it, right? I mean, then you're not left with anything else but to, you know, like to make it work.
You either got to kill it or you crumple, right? So
no, because crumple is not an option.
Oh yeah, it's just kill it.
It's just kill it.
Just kill it. That's all.
That's
we
it.
have.
That's
yeah.
it.
We're gonna go wreck shop. That's all we're gonna do.
That's it.
That's it. Absolutely. And so like, so you own, co-own an EMS company now.
Correct.
Right. So what is one thing you can say that in that field is something that's missing? Right, because we were talking about this earlier before we started this, but kind of the innovation behind it all. You know, what are they doing now that is future forward? Something that you can see is kind of evolving that space. Because as an owner, but also as an ex-paramedic or still paramedic technically, right? Yeah, still currently
still
up
certified.
to date.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Which is
fact,
awesome, by the way.
Be certified. Thanks for. I need to actually
There you
get with
go.
the state and to put in or no. right now it's national. Yeah, I need to do my update my national registry.
Boom.
It's up
See,
for it, yeah.
you're an owner. You're still certified, up to date.
Yep.
So coming from that perspective, what's so different? Because I know in ownership, sometimes you have to innovate, move things around, maybe upgrade technology, and kind of have a future forward view of things if you want to keep the company stable or keep it running right.
Of course, right. No, so I think from a
It's a different mindset.
100%. When you're the when you're the employee on the unit, right?
Yeah.
You're the one getting to kind of complain about the issues that
that
you
absolutely.
have, right? But then when you're on the other side, it's just like
you're taking left hooks to the jaw.
right, exactly, right. So it's like, all right, but no, I think industry as a whole, I think they've done great, right?
Yeah.
As far as just keeping up with the times, keeping up. Majority of your agencies, I think, have done an excellent job in technology-wise, being able to provide the best technology for the patients.
Oh, yeah.
And nowadays, the things that they're able to do in the back of an ambulance are just it's insane, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
And you think it coming from funeral homes coming to pick up the patients and hauling them to the hospitals, or in the back of
Wait, okay, say that again. Going
so-
from
so-
funeral homes.
That's correct. So that's initially that's actually who used to run the EMS agencies, were the funeral homes.
Oh, really?
That's
an interesting fact of the day.
Those were the people that would pick people up,
Wow.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's kind of scary to think, because it's like they probably have a different place that they want to take this person.
Yeah, it's a different objective here.
Yeah, they take the long route. But no,
just a few more miles.
Just a few
We'll make
more
it
miles,
back.
We'll make it. But no, you think about where they've come from, and it's insane.
It's
man.
kind of a morbid beginning.
You're right. I thought so too.
Wow.
Yes. There's a couple in Houston that there's still some out there that are truly like the old school. They were like in the like the hatchback. Not even that. What were they? Station wagons.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they kind of had converted. They were from the funeral home. I mean, it was like that's where. I mean, they had little curtains on the windows. It was scary. Yeah. But
that's current day.
God, no, not. This was where it came from.
I thought you said
Now
there were
we have
still some
tent.
people doing
No,
that.
now we have tent.
Okay. No more
God,
curtains.
Lord.
We have tent.
No more, yeah. But so you can't see what's going on back there.
I don't think I want to.
But the technology, there's even a unit in Houston that was tested out for a while that I think within the city they still use it, but that if a patient is having a stroke, there's a unit literally with all the imaging equipment that it needs in the back of it that can come out and determine the type of stroke, and it says so. I think that the technology is definitely. I think obviously
It's
there's
there.
always room for some, but I think your majority of your agencies and things like that, are doing well. I mean, nowadays there's literally my last job at the 911 service, before I kind of let that go and gave 100% of my attention to the ambulance company that I own. They had the stretchers that literally did the lifting for you.
Yeah.
So they were even looking out, and we felt really good about it, because this was a company that was looking out for our well-being.
Of course.
The number of back injuries that are sustained out there, because you think about how we lift, how paramedics twist to go get a patient from one bed to another, from one.
Yeah.
I mean, like in a perfect world, every single patient is waiting for you. At their doorstep, but unfortunately,
that doesn't happen.
No,
Yeah. And they don't all weigh the same either.
no, they don't.
Nope.
Can you imagine that?
No, I couldn't.
You know,
There's no
like,
way. There's no possible way.
No, especially in Texas, right?
Yeah, especially in Texas.
but-
Come on, breakfast burritos.
Exactly. No, and you know, right when you think that you've dealt with, you know, the most oddest, you know, kind of scene,
Yeah.
is when, you know, you find that patient that just found that new nook and cranny that you have to figure out how to get that person out of. And yeah, so I
Wow.
think, you know, with the technology that not only that they provide, you know, to move patients, plus the ability to being able to dispatch extra units, you know, fire department for lifting, you know, there's so much more manpower that you can also ask for.
Yeah.
That I think that there's been a good decline in the number of injuries that we're seeing. But man, yeah, I mean,
Well, that's good.
I would
Yeah.
say that is probably the number one reason of why the number one reason of injuries within the EMS agency would be back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I know, okay, so I come from a world where I have to, you know, make something that's not so, you know, I don't think people want to go to the hospital or the emergency room, or they don't want to be in the back of an ambulance. That's not something that's not a place where people want to be.
I hope
Right.
not.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't either, you know, never.
I don't either. Yeah,
But I know that people always question these things because they don't understand them. And I think that's the biggest reason we're doing this on Med-Minded is, you know, trying to get some real information that people can chew on, right? So that they're not so lost when they're in that situation. So coming from ownership and coming from understanding insurance and just different things. So how can you put someone's mind at ease? You know, the difference between third party and city government ambulances. I mean, what's the difference, and how can you put people at ease when it comes, when they are in that situation?
So you know, first off, I know with our agency, no matter the case, it's our policy that you know, we're going to transport any patient that needs to go, you know, like obviously if like
Yeah, of course.
life threatening, obviously person or the patient's care is the number one thing that we care about.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the difference, you know, you know, I think a lot of people, they look at an ambulance and they think an ambulance is an ambulance, right? I mean, like
Correct.
They're all the same, right?
They're all the same, and they all have the same bad rap.
Right.
I feel like.
And they all have the same, you know, kind of duty and everything. But no, there's obviously you have your what I say your 911 agencies or you know, like
Government.
you said, your whether it be city, municipality, well, you know, you know, if we picked up the phone, and I keep referring back, you know, to Houston, but if we're in the city limits of San Antonio and I pick up the phone,
Mm-hmm.
who am I? And I dial 911. What ambulance service would show up to me? Well, I'm guessing is it San Antonio Fire Department?
SCFD probably.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, but if I go out to Shirts area and I pick up the phone and I call 911, who's going to show up there?
I'm not too sure.
It's probably going to be either Shirts. Is there a Shirts EMS or is there? I know, like in Houston, depending on kind
I
of
think
the
it's
area.
districts.
Yeah, depending on the area that you're in, they have
Mm-hmm.
different services, right?
Yeah.
So those services strictly deal with those 911 calls coming into whatever area of coverage that they have, right? And then beyond that, you have privately owned ambulance companies. So again, the 911 agencies, they're majority of the time getting some sort of funding from the city, from that they're in. They're getting some sort of they're in some sort of relationship with the city to get some sort of funding for the services that they're providing, right? And then obviously they bill out any, you know, if the patient does have any type of insurance, they bill out. And I can't really speak on what their policies and what their, because I have no idea, right? Each one is a little bit different, but overall they you know, at the end of the day, you know, they're not going to care for obviously somebody, and you know, these are people that you know, if they highly suggest that you should probably go by ambulance, I would take their advice.
For sure.
They're not doing it because you know, to them it's like, at the end of the day they have a slew of calls probably waiting behind. But you know, if they're sitting there, you know, and you find yourself where you're about to sign like an AMA or something like that, just think twice, especially in a 911 situation, right?
Of course.
But you know, on the private sector, that you have so many different types of what I call kind of like subspecialties that you can find yourself in, right? So sometimes you find patients that need to be that, you know, for whatever reason they are unable to ambulate, they can't walk around, they can't drive, but you know, 3 times a week they have to go to dialysis to get dialysis done, right? And so you have private ambulance companies that kind of you know, transport those patients to and from dialysis, and that's kind of what their niche is, right? So they'll go out and work with the dialysis services, work with different, you know, hospitals where patients are being discharged, but they're needing that service 3 times a week. You know, you have patients that are you know, maybe ending up at hospitals that don't have certain capabilities, and so needing to be moved around, whether it be going to the medical center and using for you know, specialty services, and so you then have those ambulance providers that kind of, you know, work with whether it's you know, hospitals, you know, interfacility hospitals, whether it's nursing homes, things like that, where patients are needing to go to doctors' offices, to go to you know, if someone is you know, hurt at the nursing home, they have the you know, they can kind of tell whether it's immediate care and they need to call 911, or if they can wait for their private ambulance to come get them.
Yeah.
So
there's a wide variety of uses. Huh?
Man, there's
probably, how many companies are out there? I mean, just in let's say Houston, because I know you're coming from there.
I used to, man.
Used to keep tabs on this?
Yeah, I did. I don't remember the last time I checked. I will tell you this: the last time, I know that there were so many that there was a moratorium put on taxis. You could not open up a private ambulance. You could not get a private ambulance, and that was like 4 years ago. I want to say, and that was, I think at our high, we were close to, we were in like the 600s or 900s, something like that. I'm not even kidding.
You're talking about like in the state, or?
Yes, statewide.
Okay.
This is statewide, right? Yeah, no, this is statewide. And then, but we have dropped down significantly since then, because of, you know, just, I mean, it was like the wild, wild west out there for a while. It was crazy.
So I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a lot of where the bad rap came from, right? I mean, you had everybody just kind of opening up a private ambulance company, and like there was a lot of shady business going on.
Just battling it out.
Yeah, I mean, it was really,
it got intense.
It got really intense. I mean, but you know, I think again, you know, those in an industry, in anything, right? Like you're going to have your bad apples, and you know,
of course. So how do you put people's mind at ease about these things, right? So, like, you know, maybe I'm fearful of the cost, right? Because, you know, personally, I think if I get an ambulance, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. Because, you know, I've been there, you know, and it does. You know?
Well, I mean, you know, I think just really making sure that you know, so, you know, from a cost perspective is really finding out, again, you know, how bad is the need for the ambulance? You know, like, and I'm not saying to sit there and like, I think self-diagnose,
really analyze,
right, or like use WebMD for it. But okay, so we're now talking private ambulance companies, right? We're talking that you're in some sort of medical facility that's telling you that you need to have some sort of inter-facility transfer, or they're saying that you need to go to a doctor's office if you're in a nursing home. So obviously, like in the situation that we're talking, like you are already under the care of someone, and they are saying that you need an ambulance to go to XYZ, right? And so, just confirming with them, is it necessary to use an ambulance, or can a family member, can somebody, do you guys feel safe? And if that's an option, then that might be it, right? I mean, but sometimes I think the medical staff just, sometimes doesn't necessarily, even they automatically just kind of go to their private ambulance company as an option. And so, just as a patient, you have rights, right? I mean, one of them is picking your own providers. And then, doing the research of the area that you're in, and just knowing, who the providers are, that, how they handle billing, things like that.
Absolutely. And that's super important, is always ask questions.
Of course. Yeah.
Doing your own research is so important,
right,
in the medical field.
It is. I think a lot of times putting 100% of trust that
sometimes it doesn't work. Like you said, there's bad apples out there.
Let's be honest. Honestly, you truly have to ask questions. If you're going blindly, know that you're going to be taken for a ride, and it's
you may not like the
exactly
ending.
Right?
Yeah, for sure,
right.
Man.
So I mean, like, have some basis of and I get that, like, not everybody understands the difference between the private ambulance companies and the 911. Again, we're talking private. If you're calling 911, go. It doesn't matter. Like obviously, if you're experiencing life-threatening signs or symptoms, like, obviously, this is not where I'm telling you to start doing your quest for knowledge, right? This is not where you pull out the laptop and, I'm having chest pain. Hang on, I remember I heard this podcast.
Let me look this up, man. Yeah.
I'm good. Right.
But I think that's everyone's first instinct, is let me go to WebMD. I mean, for example, like my fiance right now,
security.
she's doing exactly that.
Right.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got to stop.
Everything is cancer.
I mean,
you go there. I mean, it's
on
either,
the internet,
yeah.
Cancer, diarrhea, all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's like, you know what? I don't even want to know.
No.
You know what? I'm not going to go there.
Right.
It's like I have a cough and my head hurts. It's like, you got 2 weeks to live, dude.
Yeah, you have brain tumor.
Really, WebMD? What are you doing?
Right. No,
what kind of information is that?
Yeah, I think it's a smart liability standpoint that WebMD has. If you just go to the worst.
If you go to the worst, then what could be worse?
What could be worse?
That's bad.
I mean, probably not really good for most, but yeah, no, for liabilities, that's what I think. That's at least why I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like you can't ever blame them for saying you had something.
You can't.
Yeah.
And it's always it's always like.
It's always extreme.
I always just ate something bad. I didn't have stomach cancer. What are you talking about, WebMD?
Man. So there's definitely a variety of EMS companies out there, and a variety of different purposes and uses. And the one thing that we can both probably agree to is do your own research. Always ask questions. Always know your rights. But also, and I have to say this because this is important, and I want everyone who watches this to understand this. I cannot stand when you're driving down the road and the ambulance is coming by, right? I don't care if it's city, third party, independent, whatever you want to call it. Nobody moves out of the way anymore. It's a lack of respect. And you know what? I'm telling everyone here now, this is the Med-Minded podcast, and I'm telling you to get out of the way.
Do people not get out of the way anymore?
I see it all the time.
No way.
And it just upsets me. It really does. I'm the guy that's on the side of the road, like in the grass, and everyone's just in the middle of the road.
I wonder what they're teaching now. What are they teaching now as far as...
I have no idea.
I haven't looked in such a... Because I heard... Okay, so initially I remember like growing up...
I think you're supposed to move.
It was always slow down, go to the right, and come to a stop, right?
Yeah.
That's what it used to be.
That's what I practice.
But now, can you go to the right? Do you still go to the right? Or do you just stop?
I have no idea. I think people just stop these days. They just stop.
It used to be wild because that was one of the scariest things, I think, about but also the most enjoyable too, right?
Probably. Swerving in and out of traffic,
Are
you
you
know.
kidding me? It was
It
great.
was a
It
blast,
was wild.
right?
Yeah. Rocking out to the. No, I'm just kidding. But
Probably
no,
not
it was
soft music for the patient in the back.
exactly. But no, this was on the way to the call. So yeah, but no, you would have those people that just like literally slammed on their brakes in front of you, you know. And so there's a lot of training that quite a lot of training that we go through just to be able to
driving
to
school
get somewhere in those things. And so, but no, yeah, I mean, follow whatever you know the current
whatever the current laws and rules are.
because that's what's being taught to the medics that are on those trucks right now. And so, you know, that's kind of what they're going by. I remember they did a change while I was
Seriously.
yeah, and I don't think I had kept up with it.
Maybe
I probably
neither,
need to go
guess,
through a
but
summer of just like what the new
what's the new law?
what's the new
Or
I don't even think
is it a law or is it just
No,
kind of
I
like
think it's
courtesy?
I think it's courtesy, but I think you can actually get in trouble for it too, right?
Well, yeah, I assume so. You know, like say someone's in the back of that truck or something, or it's a fire truck, right? And they're, you know, they were 10 seconds from saving someone's life, but you didn't move.
I mean, imagine it being like your loved one
Imagine
or
that.
your house, you know, like
Agreed, 100%.
that would be how crazy would it be if like it was that asshole that was sitting in front of the fire truck, but when they went home, it was actually their house on fire.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That would be. Oh,
think about that. Think about that.
That would suck.
That's a little inception there, but
it's like that person running late for the interview that like cuts off the other car, but ends up that's
It's
who.
yeah, you don't want to be in that position,
Right.
folks. That's for sure.
No.
Goodness, yeah, that's just something I had to get out there because
No,
I feel like it's just such a lack of respect. You know,
They even came out with these ones I remember because I know I was one of those kids that like blared their music.
Oh yeah,
Right. And so
of course.
they came out with these devices in the ambulances that would essentially through sound waves that it would actually send it would make your car feel like it was shaking almost.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
There is an idea.
See, this is one of those things. This is one of those alpha moments that I want to hear about.
There was actually, and I don't even know if I can talk about this. Actually, I'm going to.
You heard it here, folks.
There was somebody that pitched an idea to me that I thought was great about this. Man, I don't know if I should.
Sure you want to talk about this?
No, I don't think I'm gonna put it out there. Now that we're talking about it, I think I might actually call this guy back tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Innovation coming
Yeah.
to you soon,
Yeah,
right?
but that's a huge because
What is it? What is the goal of this? I mean,
it's to make the alertness of an emergency vehicle more precise to where to where you are and to be able to
I've got an idea.
well, I mean, if you say it, then
Well, I'm not going to
If
say
you
it probably.
say
I was
what
going to
your
say
idea
throw some
is.
12-inch subs in that sucker. And just
that's
bump.
what I'm saying. I mean,
I'm just kidding. That's
do
not my
you-
idea. But I was thinking, because there's a lot of technologies out there, especially in marketing, where you have the Wi-Fi devices.
right.
Right. And so if you turn on that device, any Bluetooth or that's within, 10 feet of your vehicle. So if I'm driving, I have a business, I want to advertise. There are such thing as Bluetooth devices
Right.
where I can push ads directly to that person.
Yep.
And if they're on their phone, it's going to obviously chime or, because everybody is hooked up to Bluetooth these days.
Right.
It's going to chime and they're going to automatically, it's probably not the safest thing in the world, but they'll probably look at their phone or they'll get some kind of notification on their screen. Because,
Right.
I've got a big old screen in my truck,
Right.
That stuff comes up on my screen. I can push it and it'll tell me exactly what it says.
Mm-hmm.
Siri
So-
will tell me exactly what that message says. So-
Again, I mean, I'm not going to say it, but like,
there's a lot of,
yeah, I mean, I think there's
There's a
a
way
lot of
that,
technology
like, yeah,
out there.
it's
I
great
think
technology.
that can, and again, I think there's so much room.
By
for
the way,
innovation.
that's some marketing alpha. Don't tell
That is-
anyone I told you that. If you're getting push ads, it wasn't me.
Nowadays, I think they're using it to get phone numbers and stuff. Man, you send your number out. This is what kids do, But no, I think there is still room. I think for so much. That's a great thing nowadays. Like, especially I think what the country has been through and seen over the past couple of years, it's now just
especially the past couple of years.
Yeah, right. I mean, like where things almost kind of felt stagnant there for a second. I think
stagnant. I figured you would be busy.
No. Listen, I'm saying prior to a couple of years ago, where I want to say, and when I'm talking just like general innovation, change. The opportunity of creating something new, right?
Everyone was chilling.
Everyone
Honestly.
was chill, right? And I think over the past, it is just the pot's been stirred, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much opportunity. There's so many different innovations now that I think the next generation behind us, our generation, can really grab onto and really be able to run with.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at my kids today, and I'm just like,
agents of change. They all will be.
You are living in a completely different world than what I did. And I remember my parents telling me this. I'm like, whatever.
Look, seriously, I mean, even from like 4 years ago to now, it's a completely different, it's just a different setting. Things are not the same. People don't act the same. Social constructs are not the same. Like you said, innovation is amongst us now. Big time.
100%. Yeah.
Big time.
You want to talk about Twilight Zones? I mean, we were like,
Yeah.
It's completely different. I mean, do you remember that show Beyond 2000? Beyond 2000?
Beyond 2000. No. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Man, there's got to be someone out there that's seen Beyond 2000.
I
remember. I'm still waiting for like the flying cars and stuff. Like this show is the coolest thing. There was so much stuff that was supposed to happen. I don't think one thing has happened off of that show yet. That was it was always concepts of what was going to happen.
They always go way too far with it.
Yeah, no, they did. They definitely did. But I mean, I guess we're moving in that direction soon.
Oh, absolutely. I think there has been a very major shift. I don't know if you keep up with all the crazy stuff about moons and stars and stuff like that, but apparently
are you one of the what? You
I'm not an astrophysicist or anything, but
no, seriously. Are you big into that?
I guess so. I'm big into a lot of things that like spiritual health. We'll call it that. So, this is the Med-Minded podcast, spiritual health.
All right, let's hear it.
So apparently, I think we were supposed to be shifting into a time of the heart, right? The next chakra, I guess you could call it.
Okay.
I'm not going to call it that, but it's
you just did.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
But I don't mean to say like, oh yeah, for sure the heart chakra. Yeah,
right.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it like we're supposed to be shifting into a new time of a different way of thinking. So I think green and the heart chakra represents like love and also caring for each other, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's been a huge push lately, kind of in the medical side of things, like caring for your neighbor by doing this, and this, right? But I think it's also a different mindset as well. So I think it's the environment around you. It's having compassion for those things. And so to innovate, I believe that you need to have compassion for people around you, because if there's not a drive to make life easier or better, or to give people more access to more things, then you will never innovate. Nothing evolves.
Agreed. Yes, 100%.
Nothing evolves. I mean, that's why I'm doing this right now,
right.
Because I see that there's a need out there.
Of course.
And I want them to have that information, whether it's one or a million people that have this information at the end of the day.
Right. No, I think, and it's sad that it's kind of come to that, right? Because,
I think they're misconstruing the idea of love thy neighbor at this point.
No, but you do look at people today, and I think everybody's just really just like
they're still in the aftershock.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I think this is not. I think it's gonna we're gonna see, especially when it comes to mental health, man. I think we're gonna see a huge spike. I mean, we're already kind of seeing some of it. I heard actually on my way up here that I think there was somebody else that recently. It was either there's somebody else that recently had taken it, but I think mental health is just a huge, secondary pandemic that we're going to that we're gonna
Oh,
see
yeah.
from all of this, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know what each other's going through, man. Like honestly,
Not at
like
all.
I try to, and mind you, I used to be the complete opposite, right? So I'm not perfect in any way whatsoever, and it wasn't, and I still have my days. I still have my bad days,
Of course,
right?
we all do.
But I always try to just remind myself that I don't know what the other person next to me is going through, right?
For sure.
I have no idea what is going on in his personal life. I have no idea what's going on, currently, and so, what other people do, we there's no way we can control that. But how we
No.
react, we can control
Correct.
that, right?
Correct. We sure can.
And so, just being mindful of that, and sometimes it can change. It changes their day, right? I mean, like and I had to be I had to start being really careful of how I used to say this, because like, if someone came at me sideways, right, like my natural reaction, dude, is like,
like, whoa.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like freaking, like
Attack.
attack, right?
Yeah.
That's how I did it for, I would say, at least for a minimum of 30 years now, like, at least, and then, but, I started just actually, being a little bit more self-conscious
Yeah.
of what my reaction was, right? Not trying to put myself in there. You don't even have to do that. Forget that, all right? Even forget that step. Just,
I mean, you
being a
can,
little bit
though,
more-
because
right,
I
you
think
can,
we've all
if it
been
helps.
in the shoes.
Right,
Shoes,
exactly,
right? I think is the answer
like,
there.
Like, I remember I would let my blood pressure go up for like the stupidest reasons.
For no
man.
reason, yeah.
No reason
That's a heart
whatsoever.
attack waiting to happen, man.
Yeah, no,
I'm with you.
I think I added an additional like good at least a good 10, 15 years to my life by like just shifting
The perspective.
the perspective, right? Yeah. And just trying, whether you want to call it, being nicer, being more like whatever it is. What I do it for selfish reasons. Okay, I'll be honest. I do it for selfish reasons. I'm not going to let you screw up my day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Hey,
I'm
that's
just
okay.
not going to let you screw up my day. I don't give a damn what you do. You're not going to screw up my good day,
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, like, to me, like, when people come at me sideways, that's how I used to react. It's like,
Yeah.
a snake that just has
Yeah,
knows
strike
one
first.
thing,
Yeah,
right? Just strike,
absolutely,
know?
yeah.
And so, but now it's like, man, I just like look at them. And it again, I've had to like tweak how I say it, because like, I think initially they thought I was being condescending. They were, but literally now it's just like, man, like, I don't know. I sincerely, genuinely do not know why you're feeling this way, but I really, really hope that your day gets better for you. And you have to be careful how you do that.
I get it. I get
Disclaimer
it.
warning, right?
I see it.
You see that, right? It can go really bad if you don't say it genuinely, right? But
Yeah.
but because they can take it. But
Yeah.
honestly, once I tweaked it and I was able to get it to sound right and come out right, you see that actually the light bulb go off in people's heads.
That's
right?
so funny. You said
You
after
see
I
that?
tweaked it, so a few times you probably
No.
sat there, said it, and there you were
And I
immediately met
escalated.
with- yeah,
Right.
escalation for
right,
sure.
Exactly. Okay, that didn't work. But no, because it can be taken the wrong way very
Yeah.
easily. But I think it's in the delivery method. But you'll see that I've seen more people, like even the light bulb in them just go off. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like, oh,
Just that slight change.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have no idea what they're going through, man.
Absolutely.
And so,
Shout out November, by the way. And
yeah,
I don't know, where's your mustache? at?
dude, you know that I would. This
You
is
had
probably
a
the
very
first-
grizzly beard.
I know.
Where'd it go? It's November. I think it's men's mental.
Yes,
Health
no, the
awareness
no
month.
shave, no shave November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always done that, and I've actually had. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I had it down. I had it.
Yeah.
For a good time. I had a pretty good one going. But honestly, it's the summers in Houston, man.
That's hot.
Have you gone through this?
I'm from Angleton.
I understand,
man,
but trying to grow a beard.
no. I think I was too young to grow a beard at that point.
I mean, you're still working on connectors and stuff.
I'm still working on it. Yeah. Hey, to each in their own time.
Yes,
Okay.
you're right.
Patience.
You're right.
Patience is a virtue.
I'm excited for
I'm
it.
curating it like what is it? A bonsai tree?
Yeah,
You know, it takes forever to grow.
Man, it's like a fine bottle of wine. You know, it takes time, man.
Some a little longer than
right,
others.
Exactly. But no, you know, it's always the summers that get me. Once it gets cold, you know, weather gets a little cooler. But you know, it seems like I should have already started. I usually it's been you know, prior to that, in the past years that. It's been 2-3 months prior to November that I get started, but I don't know what it's been this year. It's been a weird year, man. It's just
shout out November though.
100%.
Talking
yeah,
about all this mental health and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I think
it's a huge topic right now. After all this, you know, the pandemic, or I mean, some would say we're still there. I don't know where we're at anymore. I think it's all kind of meshing and gelling together. I think it's just normal life at this point.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's
I
just,
agree.
it is what it is.
It is. It's where we're at.
It's right now.
It is in the now.
Yeah,
you know?
it's current.
It
enough.
is current, and this is where we're at, and this is what life. You know, there's no sense in like trying to figure out what's what's
sense at
going
all.
to be,
Focus
right?
on now. Look to tomorrow. You know,
exactly.
You know, I'm a very future forward thinker, so
right.
I don't really like to look at what happened yesterday. I like to look at right now, but also tomorrow.
Yes.
You know, I think it was a super interesting quote, and don't laugh when I say this. It was from Kung Fu Panda, dude.
Oh, are you kidding me? Why would I laugh?
I don't know. It's like my favorite movie of all time.
I take anything coming out of Kung Fu Panda very seriously.
I think it was the turtle, Master Oogway, I believe his name was.
I know where you're going.
So
love it.
I hope I can remember this, but it was like, forget the past. Today is a gift. That is why it's called the present.
Correct.
Yeah, today's a gift, man.
It's a gift. It truly is.
A gift.
You did good.
I think that's what it was.
That's yeah.
It's not like an official quote or anything, but it's pretty close.
It's yours now. It's
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
no, it was you know, that's all you can do right now. Like, I think I even worried. I think I went through different stages of it, right? Like,
yeah, I think we all did.
You know, you're just like, holy cow. You know, it's like, I for a good few months, I thought the world was coming to an end.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
total freak out.
Yeah.
Calm, total freak out.
Yep. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
It's been a cluster.
It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But I think looking around, you know, you can tell that people are starting to be a little bit more interactive. Like I don't know how much longer people like can really truly be shelled up and
dude, we're social creatures.
Dude, exactly. Like
it's major.
You can't hold me down anymore. That's all I'm saying. Like I'm like I'm out and about.
So you can't hold me
Yeah,
down
no
anymore.
more, man. I'm kidding. You know, that's what I'm saying. No, it's because
it's the whole mental health thing, the social interaction, the lack of. That's detrimental.
Man, I got a dog in that time.
It's probably because that's what you needed.
Yeah.
For your mental health.
I did. Absolutely. No, that's. I mean, and you know how I am. I usually like it's not that I have a distaste for animals or I don't like. I actually truly love animals.
Yeah.
But because of me traveling as much as I do, because of me
there's no
being
time.
on the road, right? I'm the type of person like if you truly can't give. I think when you take an animal on, whether it be a parakeet, a fish, or a dog, or a horse, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I think you have to you have to make sure that animal is cared for. It's not cool to get to take a dog, even if it's a shelter dog, even if it's a dog off the street, and then go home and stick it in a kennel for 22 hours right? Just let the thing be on the street.
Yeah,
like
he was doing better outside of that.
Exactly, right? Exactly, right. So
if I offend anybody,
right,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
yeah.
Me too. Honestly, it would at least have some other chance to maybe find somebody that
Yeah.
it was 20 hours and not 22 hours, that it had to be in the who knows? I don't know. But I think for me, you're right. I think right now, if you look at industries that you want to get into, I think veterinary is a good one, to be honest with you. Because as people become more disconnected with other humans, they're going to fill that void.
And you know what? There's a word for that. I think for the past, and I'm not kidding you, I think for the past 6 years, I've been trying to figure out what this word is. I'm serious.
A word for
like 6 years. It always comes up for disconnect, right? It's actually a word that means disconnecting from society. It specifically is used for like elderly people and stuff like that. So it's a complete disconnect. There's a word for it, but I cannot remember it. For the past 6 years, I've been trying to remember this.
And then you remembered it.
No,
you still can't.
I still can't figure out what that word
you
is.
must
So
have dementia.
No, I don't have dementia. I learned it when I was in like middle school, right? And I always thought the word was very interesting because throughout my life, I've kind of felt that way, disconnected, but not in a bad way. Not like, oh, like I feel bad because I feel disconnected, but like disconnected is in like there's something different about me that I'm not vibrating with here with the general populace.
Right.
But that whole disconnect is happening for sure right now. I think people are. I don't know.
It's crazy, and I think people are going to feel that. I mean,
yeah.
Do you have any pets?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, what kind of pets?
We have an English Mastiff, and we also have a Chihuahua. That's a little shit.
Okay, all right. So let's
but I love
here.
him. So,
but obviously,
Isabel's gonna see
it
that
seems
one.
like I.
That's our dog.
I really hope your couch is comfortable.
To the doghouse.
Yeah, it's at least 2 or 3 nights. No, so obviously you like the Mastiff. We'll go with the Mastiff. Okay, so
I love them both. Okay,
Right.
look, they're both awesome. Okay, fantastic,
when
fantastic souls.
When I posed this question, you might have hesitated if I asked about the Chihuahua. And I get it, man. I get it. Those small dogs. My daughter has one.
That's it.
There's. I could talk to you for hours, man. This was
absolutely, yeah, no, definitely, same. I think there's too much to be said. I think there's a lot of topics we could go over, and we'd be here for the next 4 days. And unfortunately, we don't have all that time. But you know what? I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all the stories. I think it's gonna give people a lot to just kind of listen to, look at, and see the reality behind it. And being an owner, being in the medical field, it gives people an insight to these people, right? Because they may not know the people behind the scenes. And so this is an important thing, they get to see somebody and hear from someone.
I'm really, really excited that you're doing this because I think it is going to pull back the curtains to a lot of the back end of whether it be illness, whether it be medical facilities, so I'm really proud of what you're doing here, and honestly, this is I don't know that I answer too many questions because I think when you're talking about an ambulance company, there's so much that goes into it, and I think each one is so differently set up and ran. But overall, the I think we put it back. It's like just go out there and do your pre-research, not in the moment. Find out what your options are, and making sure that you know what that you have rights when it comes to picking providers, picking your care and things like that. So the best thing I can say is get that research. Make sure that you're obtaining the research that you need for the area that you're in, and knowing what your different options are.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you being here, Omar. Once again, I am extremely humbled to have you here. And, I hope that this does make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, whether that's one person or a million people, that's all I care about is educating people, putting these professionals like yourself front and center on the stage, to talk about things, because people don't hear from you guys. People don't hear from owners and, you know, what do you call it? Influencers and doctors and owners of facilities. There's a lot that can't be said. I get it, you know, but as much as we can say, I want to say, you know, I want to put that out into the world so that way people can educate themselves and make vastly more educated decisions. You know, I think that's so important. And thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody for listening in to the first ever episode of Med-Minded. I hope you stay tuned and come see me for the next episode. Give us a like, share, a comment, you know, ask me some questions. That's important. If you're not asking questions and you're not learning, if you're not learning something new every single day, you're not growing.
100%.
Grow with me.
Watch out, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, watch out, bro. I don't think we're going to come after him, but yeah, man, I appreciate you being here. Until next time.